What's cooking, good looking? Yes, you. Welcome to Melinden TV. If you've watched my channel before, you know that I love trying out physical challenges, different people's workout routines, different physical tests that are associated with physically demanding jobs. Love it. Love it. Today, I am trying out the FBI physical fitness test to see if I would be able to pass it without training for it. I have a couple of other videos in this series that I will link up here. Recently, I tried to see if I could run a Spartan virtual trifecta without training for it. And then my first video in this series was me trying to see if I could pass the New Jersey State Trooper exam to become a police officer without training for it, which is weirdly my most viewed video. So thank you. So you can check out above if you would like to see either of those. What's different than me trying the police test as opposed to the FBI test is that when I say I don't train for it, it means that I'm not training specifically to pass that test, but it could mean that I'm still exercising regularly, which at the time that I tried the police exam, I was exercising regularly, and for the FBI exam, maybe I was slacking off just a little bit. But who hasn't under quarantine? I've been very physically active under this quarantine. I took the opportunity to really work on my body weight and my calisthenics, but I did take a few weeks off, and because of who I am as a person, I decided to try taking the FBI physical fitness test during that time. So when I say, can I pass the FBI physical fitness test without training for it, I mean, I really, really, really didn't train for it. If you are actually interested in applying for the FBI and becoming a special agent as a career choice, I do recommend you visit fbijobs.gov, and I will put a link in the description box with the website that I used to get my resources. I recommend that you use that as a resource instead of viewing this video as law, because I don't know when you're watching this video and information can change. So make sure you visit that website for the most up-to-date information as far as what the requirements are at the time that you're looking to apply. With that said, if you are looking to be an FBI special agent, there is so much more included in the process than just the physical fitness test. The process is about 9 steps and takes several years to go through, and the physical fitness test is only step 6. Now, this video isn't about the FBI application process, it's just about the physical fitness test, but I'm going to run through the steps really briefly in case you don't believe me. Step 1 is application and screening. You would have to submit your application and all of your other forms, including your transcripts. Step 2 is the phase 1 test, which is essentially a 3-hour proctored exam that consists of 5 assessments: logic-based reasoning, figural reasoning, personality assessment, preferences and interests, and situational judgment. Then step 3 is the required information, which includes your self-reported physical fitness test results, your critical skills, and your self-reported language sections. Step 4 is a meet and greet, which is an in-person review of all of the stuff that you've submitted so far before you're able to move on to step 5, which is the phase 2 test, which is a writing assessment and structured interview by a panel of 3 special agents. And finally, if you've gotten this far, step 6 is the physical fitness test, which we'll come back to in a second. Now, if you pass the physical fitness test, you get to move on to step 7, which is a conditional appointment offer, and then step 8, which is background investigation. Step 8 alone takes about 6 months, but can take up to 18. This is when they do a personnel security interview, a polygraph examination, a drug test, fingerprinting, and a medical examination. It also includes credit and arrest checks, interviews with associates, references, and verification of educational achievements. And then step 9, if you've gotten this far, is the basic field training course, which is 19 weeks at the FBI Academy in Quantico. And if you've lasted that long, then you might receive a placement. It's a really long, involved process, so just know that if you are actually interested in becoming an FBI special agent, it is more than just the physical requirement. To even apply to the FBI, you need to be a certain age, you need to have a bachelor's degree, you need to have a valid driver's license with at least 6 months of driving experience, you need to have had a full-time professional job for at least 2 years, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm not personally trying to be an FBI agent. I just wanted to see if I could pass the test. If you're interested, I really wish you the best. There's a lot involved, but make sure you're sure before you start the process because it is a few years long to get through. Even the physical requirements is more than just the physical fitness test. You also need to pass a hearing test, a vision test, and make sure that you're up to date with all of your immunizations. So if you're an anti-vaxxer, you literally can't be an FBI agent. Sorry. The FBI Physical Fitness Test, or PFT, consists of 4 major events, and then there is a 5th event if you are applying to be in the Tactical Recruitment Program, or TRP. Your performance in each of the events is assigned a point value depending on how many reps you're able to accomplish or what time you were able to complete the activity in, whichever one is appropriate. And at the end, all of those points get added together. You need a cumulative score of 12 points to pass the 4-event test. And if you are applying for the Tactical Recruitment Program, you would need a total of 20 points. You also need to score at least 1 point in each category, so failing any of the events will result in a total fail, regardless of how many points you received in the other events. So the first event in the FBI PFT is sit-ups. It is a timed event that is a total of 1 minute. You have to see how many sit-ups you can do in that 1 minute, but it is a continuous motion exercise, which means that you are allowed to rest, but once you rest, your time stops, and only the sit-ups you have done to that point will be counted. So as you can see, I was able to do 34 complete sit-ups total. In order to figure out how many points this equates to, I had to look at the scoring guide, which again, you can download directly from their website using the link that I am putting in the description box. The table shows how many points are assigned to however many reps of sit-ups, and there are slightly different numbers for males and females. The range that I fell into was 30 to 34 sit-ups, which is assigned 0 points. Yeah, I have to say that I'm pretty disappointed that I failed the very first event. Now, at this point, I would have just failed the entire test, no reason to keep going, but I wanted to see how many points I would have accumulated in the other events also, so we're just going to keep on going. I'm kind of mad at myself because if I had looked at this table in advance and seen how many sit-ups I would have needed to pass, I probably could have squeezed out one more. I just took my sweet time and and failed in the first event. Okay. But let's for the sake of showing the entire test, let's keep going, okay? So during the test, you would get no more than 5 minutes of rest in between events. So I did allow myself to that time before moving on to the next event, which is a 300-meter sprint. It would be done on a traditional oval track, which you would do 3/4 of the track, and it's timed in seconds. So let's see how I did with that. So I was able to complete the 300-meter sprint in 62.9 seconds, which for females equates to a total of 1 point. The next event is push-ups. So after your 5 minutes of rest, you would do push-ups. That is an untimed event. It's just however many you can do continuously. Once you need to pause to take a break, the test is over, and only the push-ups that you were able to do consecutively without stopping would be counted. So I was able to do 24 consecutive push-ups. I'm honestly pretty proud of that. I did spend a lot of time doing push-ups this summer over quarantine because it's something that you can do at home with no equipment. But at this time that I took this FBI exam, I probably hadn't done any significant amount of push-ups for like over a month. So the fact that I was able to get 24 in a row, I'm pretty proud of it. Well, for women, 24 push-ups equates to 3 points, which I think is great. And then moving on to the next event, which would be the last event for a traditional physical fitness test. And it's a 1.5 mile run, which is done again on an oval track. You would have to do 6 laps total, and it is timed. So my time for the 1.5 mile run was 12:17.3. I'm honestly pretty proud of that time. I wouldn't consider myself a very fast runner. I think I'm pretty average at best. And I'm also a distance runner, so this distance really isn't my forte. And add on to that I hadn't really been running for like a month when I did this, so I'm really, really proud of that time. It also equates to a score of 4, which is the best score that I got on any of the events, which I think is pretty cool. So just adding together the points from the first 4 events, which is what would happen during a traditional physical fitness test, I scored a total of 8 points, which would have been a failing score because you need a minimum of 12. Now, mind you, I already failed after the first event when I got this many points, but I would have double failed, which is just great for the self-confidence. So moving on to the next event, again, this is only an event that you would need to do if you were applying for the Tactical Recruitment Program, but it's pull-ups. And again, this is another untimed event, but it is a continuous motion exercise. So it's just however many consecutive pull-ups you can do in a row without stopping, without resting. You're not allowed to swing or kip. They're just strict unassisted pull-ups. At the time that I did this test, I wasn't at home where my pull-up bar was. I was at a park, so you'll see that I made the best substitution I could in finding a pull-up bar. Okay, so 2 pull-ups total. That's honestly not bad for me. For women, 2 pull-ups equates to 2 total points, which would bring my total score for all 5 tests to 10 points, which is still too low because the minimum for the Tactical Recruitment Program is 20 points. So I think at this point I triple failed. I am overall pretty disappointed in how I performed in the FBI PFT, but I think it goes to show how physically demanding of a job it really is, and how anyone who is an FBI special agent is definitely deserving of our respect for all that they have to go through in order to get that position. I think it's really admirable, and now that I've tried it myself, at least the physical part of the test, I have that much more respect for anyone who is able to get through the entire process. I'd like to try the test again in the future when I'm in better shape. I don't think that I would ever train specifically for this test since I have different goals and I'm not necessarily trying to become an FBI agent, but I would like to try this test again in the future after a period of being a little bit more physically active and more consistent with my training, and see if I perform any better. And who knows, maybe that could be another video in the future. Let me know in the comments if you've ever tried this physical fitness test, or if you try it after this video and want to share your score. I mean, there's no shade here. I failed, so if you passed, power to you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you liked this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure you hit the subscribe button if you are not already subscribed to my channel. I post new content on the first Wednesday of every month, and a Battle of the Boxes fitness unboxing on the penultimate day of the month. If my unboxing is not ready to post by the second to last day of the month, then I post a bonus video instead, and I post my Battle of the Boxes whenever it's ready. So make sure you hit the notification bell if you want to know exactly when I'm uploading, because it's definitely 2, potentially more times a month. I made that complicated, didn't I? I also host free fitness and nutrition challenges every single month. If you're interested in joining any of those, follow the link in the description box below, and it's basically just a survey where you check off all of the ones that you're interested in, and then I send you the PDF with instructions and reps right before the challenge begins. Again, that's absolutely free if you're interested in participating. There's not a bunch listed on that link because we're nearing the end of the year, but stay tuned for the challenges in 2021. I hope that they're only getting better and better with time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.